Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. We recently had a new Shiyu Defense drop in Zenless Zone 0, and I figured I wanted to talk a bit about the end game as well as what is kind of required to actually fully clear Shiyu Defense. So I had a challenge for myself. What is roughly the minimum amount of investment that I could put into a team for me as an individual to be able to S rank everything in the current? So I took two free-to-play-ish friendly teams into this Shiyu Defense, with the first one being a main DPS Billy. We can see here that he has reasonable stats, as well as we can see his skills are fairly leveled and not quite maxed. And Billy here has 15, 15, 12. And yes, I did use two hamster cage passes on our boy, Billy Boy, because he's lately been one of my favorite DPS characters. Now, do keep in mind he is at Mindscape 6, which definitely helps him significantly. But when it comes to 4-star characters and clearing Shiyu Defense, this kind of is the rough norm that we, as theory crafters tend to consider. So here we have Billy's drives. He's using the 2-piece Hormone Plunk plus 4-piece Fanged Metal. Now, unfortunately, the Fanged Metal isn't particularly great because of the issues with, timing the assault with when you need to do damage. And now that I think about it, I should have actually tried to time his assaults with doing damage. But hey, I completely forgot about that. So we also have the Starlight Engine, an incredibly free-to-play friendly Wenjin that is craftable, obviously. And that is Billy's build. And he doesn't even have a physical damage slot 5, which is quite unfortunate considering, his current build. So as for Ambi, she is at level 60, which is a bit overkill. However, I do think it helped a bit, although, having these would have helped a lot more than having level 60 in this case. However, we have her weapon right here at Refinement 4, a pretty reasonable setup and build for her. Now, we didn't level all the Shockstar Disco pieces because honestly, what's the point unless I'm dying? She's not built for damage, she's just built for some impact. And up next, we have the support for this team. We have Nicole. So Nicole is at level 50, and we can see her skills are at 10, 10, 13 in order to get a bit more days off on her defensive assist, as well as, whatever, honestly, for the other talents. And here we have a very similar build, not leveled much at all. We have, I guess this anomaly proficiency piece on the swing jazz, as well as anomaly mastery. Oh, okay, I don't even have energy recharge. Now that I think about it, I should have had her on energy recharge, but hey, it is what it is. So the second team that I used, I did use one Gacha exclusive, and honestly for this current Shiyu Defense, I would say Ellen, it might be one of the ones that struggles a bit more in comparison to, for example, if you had Jane or if you have Zhu Yuan, especially Zhu Yuan absolutely dumpsters this current Shiyu 7. But yeah, so Ellen, she's still not bad for this. However, unfortunately, she is not what I would describe as great for this. Now, regardless, my Ellen is decently built, and she doesn't actually have any hamster cage passes, I realized, nor is she maxed here. I guess I never mind, my Ellen is not completely built yet, but she is at level 60. And we can see here she's using the 4-piece Woodpecker Electro, as well as this free-to-play event-friendly weapon. And let's quickly just, skip through the supports here. We have Lycone with a level 30 steam oven, with his skills are kind of whatever, and he is at level 50. And finally, we have Sokaku with very similar levels of investment, although here I do have her with the 4-piece swing jazz, as well as a bit more attack percent. We have attack percent maxed out on 2 of the pieces, and actually, yeah, on this one as well, in order to jack up her attack, as well as her signature Wenjin is at R5 though, so do keep that in mind. And she is also at Cinema 6, so 4-star characters, when possible, I do use as Cinema 6. All right, so the teams are lined up. I want you to let me know if you think this is a free-to-play friendly setup Now, the goal here is to clear with the lowest level of investment that I could conceive of, as well as with my level of skill and so and so. So here you can see that I do my best to group up these guys at the beginning, because when they spread out, it is obviously very bad in terms of clear time. And ideally, you'd be able to clear it out without going for the full chains, because, the ice chains, at least for Ellen as well as Sokaku, are pretty slow. But you can see here that we are just going for a stun on this enemy. Now, I guess I'm not really offering anything too incredibly insightful, but here you can see that I do build up a couple of stacks on Sokaku's little skill thing, and in order to go into the defensive assist into Lycone, or not defensive assist, defensive counter, parry, whatever. So now we initiate the chain attack right here, and here we go. We are going to do some big terrible damage, and you can see there I canceled the chain in order to give Ellen a bit more field time. Since she's using the 4-piece Woodpecker Electro, you can see that I used the basic attack skill, although I should have used the B3 after the skill, but oh well. You can see here that the boss has taken a huge amount of damage, but unfortunately you can see me get absolutely clobbered there. However, this run was still the run that ended up managing to barely, spoilers, to potentially S-rank this Shiyu 7. Now, one thing to note about this Shiyu 7 and my first attempt when it came to doing this, my first try against this, I unfortunately did not manage to S-rank it. In fact, I managed to A-rank it with 30 seconds, over the time limit, which is 5 minutes is the target for the time limit. Now, we should be able to finish it off soon enough, although in this case, I believe I did not manage to surprisingly finish it off, because I went for Lycone's chain attack for some reason. I think to build up the decibels, but that certainly was not needed, and this is typically why I usually skip Lycone's chain portion. And now, the boss is just hanging on for dear life, and we are also trying to take it out, and, I'm trying to dodge that spin to win ability from the boss, but it's not going so well. So definitely not a clean 7-1. This can absolutely be improved, and really should focus on the legs in order to break the legs a bit more effectively. So there we go. That gives us a decent amount of time left on the clock for the second half. And the second half, this current Shiyu 7 really favors physical units, because the enemy is really tanky. You can see there that I should have actually dodged after that watching this, and that would have been great. But hey, this also proves someone that messes up as much as me is able to, S-rank the Shiyu 7. So this boss really favors defensive assist counters. Oh man, why am I blanking out on the exact name for it? Let me actually go check it out in terms of the name of it. Yeah, it is called the defensive assist. So when you swap in a character and basically parry them, you can see there that I think I missed the parry there, and it's flashing red because we are unfortunately out of assist points. And Ambi here is, desperately for her life trying to stun this. Now, I'm not the best Billy player, because I think there are some ways in order to maximize the damage that he does with his crouching shot, and in order to maximize its timing with Nicole. So yeah, anyway, definitely not the best setup, but we can see here that we did chunk the boss for roughly just a quarter of its health. But you definitely want to also apply some disorders to the boss, which unfortunately right now we haven't really got around to doing so, at least not very much, because the disorders reward you heavily. You can see there that that disorder, I guess it didn't actually do that much damage. What was that, like 30,000 damage? Well, whatever, damage is damage. So you can see that this boss, though, a big challenge of it is actually surviving and kind of knowing, its attack patterns when you are roughly able to parry it is going to be very helpful, and just playing against it a few times tends to help a lot. And really, one tip of advice I have is oftentimes with these games like Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, I'm often looking at my character's resources, HP, like how much energy do they have, which part of the combo they're in. No. Against this boss, my tip is to keep your eyes glued on him. So every time you see a glint or whatever, you can do either a dodge counter, or you can do a defensive assist. and that is going to be key for beating this boss, is don't look at your characters. I know that you want to look at, Nicole for the same reasons that I enjoy looking at Nicole, but no. We got to actually watch this big oaf's, giant muscles and stuff as he literally tries to wall up us to death. So yeah, I'm just yapping at this point, but you can see here that I'm doing Billy's goofy little standing shot, just kind of waiting for it to recover there, so that way we can hopefully finish it off in time. And we did get our ultimate, which is great news because a ton of Billy's damage comes from his ultimate. We're going to apply the debuffs on it and get the quick assist in order to activate Starlight Engine, and bam, with Billy's ultimate, we were able to take this thing out. And let's see how much time did this take us. It took us 4 minutes and 54 seconds to clear. Now, this next team is with my personal, actually built characters on my account, where I have C0R1 as well as, the 5 stars necessary to make these teams complete. So you're going to see how big of a difference it is to actually use, the quote-unquote most recommended teams at, I wouldn't say like reasonable levels of investment, because it's basically impossible for people without paying money to get C0R1 on all these 5-star characters, but you guys can see roughly what you can expect from the performance of these teams now. So this boss though is great for Zhu Yuan because it does a lot of those evasive assist attacks, where you need to use evasive assist in order to actually, kind of trigger some kind of dodge or something, because otherwise you won't be able to trigger those. So anyway, we're going for big mega damage with Zhu Yuan's stun multiplier bonus, as well as Qingyi's stun multiplier bonus, as well as, Zhu Yuan's massive damage against stunned opponents, and bam, literally one single cycle in comparison to 2.5 cycles with the free-to-play Ellen. And of course, the free-to-play Ellen had tons of disadvantages, including not having the elemental advantage. So anyway, here we are with Jane. Now, I'm not... Sokaku is not the best teammate for Jane, in my opinion, but considering, we have Qingyi on the other side, and I don't have Lucy built yet, well, we're just going to have to deal with having my Sokaku here. And we are trying to get Jane's shield by using Seth's, defensive assist in order to bring Jane on and pass on his shield to her. And here we can see that I'm just defensive assisting whenever I see the yellow flash in order to do terrible days, because this team doesn't have a dedicated stunner. So we are going to be reliant on a character like Seth's defensive assists, as well as some disorders, in order to build up that stun bar. So now we can see a terrible camera angle there. Usually you get a much nicer camera angle, but in that case, we were literally inside of our brute friend here. So anyway, we can see here that I'm not activating any of her allies' chain skills to give Jane the most possible time on field that I can in order to trigger a bunch of assaults. And unfortunately, I think Sokaku's buff might have worn off during all that, which is, a big doo-doo in that case. But we can see here, it doesn't matter. This boss just goes down to the characters that, it was designed to go down against. So, yeah. Yeah, so what are my thoughts on this? Well, hopefully this gives you a rough idea in terms of what I would describe as the minimum level of investment in order to clear this Shiyu defense. We can see here that this definitely favors Jane, as well as, well, every single agent is currently an attack scaler essentially, so except for maybe Ben. And yeah, so obviously Jane's gonna overperform here, but we're not really using the perfect team for her. Yapping. So yeah, huge difference between the semi-pay-to-win team with C0R1 5 stars versus the free-to-play friendly-ish team. I don't know if free-to-plays have had enough resources to build their teams to those levels yet, but that should give you some idea of roughly what it takes to S rank. Now, how important is it to S rank? Honestly, it's not that important, because you are literally just missing out on a single S rank down here, which is just equal to 40 polychromes, 100 investigation merits, 20,000 dennies. So honestly, don't sweat that much about it. Just do the best you can. And that was my personal findings in terms of the minimum level investment for this current Shiyu defense. Now, one more quick tip of advice before I sign off is that absolutely you want to level up your main DPS characters from 50 to 60. If possible, just get them up to 60 as soon as possible, because just leveling them in this game provides a massive boost to damage, way more so than, for example, games like Genshin Impact. So do keep that in mind. You definitely want to prioritize leveling your DPS characters like Ellen, like Billy, Zhu Yuan, Jane, etc, etc. Your support characters don't matter as much. You can see here that level 50s were doing just fine. Honestly, Nicole could be level 40 and she would have done just fine. So yeah, let me know what you think about this video, what you think about kind of the concept behind this video, whether you found it helpful, not helpful, relatable, unrelatable. Let me know what you think about the free-to-play friendly team as well. Honestly, at this point in the game, not everyone, even like, you know, hardcore free-to-play players, are meant to S-rank the current Shiyu Defense. So don't sweat it, just have fun, do your best. Let me know if you managed to S-rank Shiyu 7 down in the comments below, and if you did S-rank it, let me know what teams you used. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Went to Lose, signing out.